Hey everybody, what's up? Startup Survival here. I'm not sure I've ever made a dedicated video about my keychain carry system before, but I'll just quickly show you right now because it ties into the review I'm about to do. So I carry my keys on a Night Eyes carabiner. I don't know what size this is, but I think they make different sizes. The top portion I'll clip usually to a belt loop on a pair of jeans or khakis or something like that. And on the bottom portion here I've got my keys obviously and a few tools. So I've got a flashlight here. This is a small little like 10 lumen flashlight for sort of emergency use. I usually carry a better flashlight with me somewhere in my bag, but that could be my go-to. I've got a whistle here, and the whistle is it's so light to carry, and on the occasion that you would really need to use it, I think it would be worth its weight in gold. You know, if you're ever lost in the woods or something like that, this will carry a long distance and you know, be able to signal to rescuers or whoever much better than you shouting. I also live in Vancouver, which is Pacific Coast, Pacific Ring of Fire. There's always a chance there could be an earthquake and we could be trapped in a building or something like that. Again, signaling for rescue, this would be great to have. And then the last thing too is I've spent a lot of time in Mexico, and by and large I think it's a fairly safe country to visit and spend time in and all that good stuff, but there are some very realistic security threats happening there, and I'm always on guard. I'm actually going down to Mexico again in about a week. So when I'm down there, I don't know, I just think and act a little differently than I do when I'm in my own country. And I've often thought this would be good, like if I got into like some sort of a threatening situation, this could bring a lot of attention to it quickly rather than me having to deal with it privately and, you know, wind up in a garbage bag somewhere, who knows. But anyways, on a more pleasant note, let's talk about the last tool that I have on my keychain, which is the Leatherman Squirt PS4. I'll take it off here so we can have a look at the tools. So I've had this for probably about 2 years now. And I'll zoom in here so you can have a look at the wear and tear experience. This has been dropped on the ground a whole bunch of times, and you can see that there's like a little bit of scuffing, mostly around the edges, but nothing functional. It's all just like aesthetic sort of scratches and stuff like that. So I would say the finish has held up fairly well over the course of 2 years, especially considering it's been dropped many times. Well, now let's talk about the tool set. So inside here you've got the pliers, of course, and for me that's pretty much the primary reason why I carry a Leatherman is for pliers. If it wasn't for that, you know, a Victorinox could suffice pretty much and cover all of the things that a Leatherman does. But that's sort of their trademark, I would say, is having a dedicated, really good quality set of pliers. There are some Victorinoxes that also have pliers, but it's nothing really like on the same scale as this. Excluding, of course, their dedicated multi-tools that they have made in the image of Leatherman. You know, the pliers are good. They're spring-loaded and they're tiny. Inside here you got like a little wire cutter, and I think that these would be okay for like loosening some, you know, nuts or picking up something that requires a precision, you know, sort of device. And also, I mean, untying knots and things like that. I think that these work fairly well. So I do like having pliers. The other thing I'll just mention before I move on to is just comparing the size of this against like a Spartan, which I also will put on my keychain from time to time. I find it much easier to carry the Squirt on there versus the Spartan, actually. I don't think the weight is drastically different. I could be wrong about that, but I think they're probably about the same. But just the form factor of the Squirt is much easier to carry. So what about the rest of the tools on the exterior here? You've got a chisel ground FFG blade here, and it's not bad, but here comes the Spartan again. This isn't really a comparison video, but I think everybody kind of realized, you know, this is a universal tool that a lot of people have seen, so it's quite a lot smaller than the blade of the Spartan, and I do like this blade much better, actually. So amazingly, on a multi-tool, I would say 90% of the time the tool I am most interested in is the knife. On this one, not so. I rarely use this knife, and it's not going to be good for much else besides opening a package maybe, or a letter. But even like a blister pack or something, I would hesitate to open it with this knife, because I could definitely see that knife like torquing or whatever and closing on you, because of course all these tools on the outside are non-locking. The other thing you have is a file. So it's got sort of a medium side, a rough side, and then on the bottom it has a notching capability, so you can create like a little groove in something. I think that's pretty cool. I don't really have the occasion to use a file all that often, but Of the files I've seen in multi-tools over the years, this is quite a good one, especially for the size. So that's it for that side. On the other side, we have a pair of scissors, and I love this. This is my favorite feature of the Squirt PS4. For me, having scissors, I think, is more of an urban thing than a wilderness thing, for sure. So I mean, there's some multi-tools that Leatherman makes where you know, they've got a saw instead of scissors, and I think that's fine. If you're in the woods, you probably don't have occasion to use scissors there anyways, but this is something I would carry in the city most of the time, and I really like the scissors. I use these all the time. You can see beside, you know, this is the Huntsman. The scissors are a little bit larger there, and I also have the Wave here, and I'll show you the scissors on that, because they are roughly the same size actually as the scissors on the Squirt. You would assume that they would be much larger. But to me, those look fairly similar. Maybe these ones are a little bit more robust, they lock open, you know, whatever, but similar size anyways. So that is the scissors, my favorite tool on the Squirt. And then on the other side here, we have a Phillips driver. I don't, you know, use screwdrivers all that often because I'm not like a tradesperson or anything like that. It's good to have. I think a Phillips head is probably a really common screw head, so it's good to have that driver on there, but like I said, I don't really use it. That would probably be my least used tool on the Squirt. And on the other side, you got a flathead screwdriver with a bottle opener. And just a word about the bottle opener on here, and I'll show you the Leatherman bottle opener by comparison. I personally like the Leatherman bottle opener much better, because I find when I lift a cap with this one, I'm able to get it off the first time. With this one, I just find that like little lip under there is just a little too small, so you kind of have to like pop open one side partially, pop open another side, and finally it'll pop off after all that. So I actually like loaning out my tools to people. Like if I'm in a situation where somebody says, hey, does anybody have a pair of scissors or, you know, whatever, I'll volunteer to let them use whatever I have if I have something they can use. And I actually am hesitant to give this one out to people as a cap lifter, because it's just kind of like embarrassing in its performance actually. You know, you go to all the trouble of being a prepared individual, having the right tool at the right time, but this tool in my mind is just kind of inferior, honestly. So it's limited, but I think that they could have, you know, made that just a little bit more pronounced, and it would lift the caps a little easier. But yeah, that's basically the tool set of the Squirt. It's purely, you know, an EDC multi-tool. I don't think most people are going to carry around something like the Wave. I think that most people are going to find it convenient to carry something small like this. And it's served me well for like about 2 years now, and it's pretty much an EDC. Sometimes I'll swap it out and throw like a Spartan on the keychain, but like I said, this is probably my favorite keychain multi-tool. I know that Leatherman also makes a model called the Micra, which I don't own yet, and I would say it's similar in some ways to the Squirt in terms of size and all that stuff, but inside it's got like a dedicated pair of scissors instead of pliers. So that's you know, another choice that you have to make. Do you want to give up the pliers or not? So I don't know, maybe I'll get that in the future and show you guys, but that's it for now. Thanks for watching.